one of the most important things that we set out to do when deciding to host people was that we wanted to do something that was very different from what is out there. So there's a lot of retreats and wellness and, even the latest biohacks conferences and holistic therapies. And for us, the most important thing was to help people understand the entire spectrum of knowledge. So my background in neuroscience and neurobiology, but also in Eastern and holistic, Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine, and just understand the totality of the wisdom and where they intersect in the understanding of how it applies to our lives, how we are in such a state of toxic stress as human beings, as businesses, as organizations, as societies, as countries, and even more so, I think the most important thing was understanding our place in how easily we co-regulate with one another as a species. And by that I mean that within seconds, we are immediately regulating each other's nervous systems. So if a large percentage of our population is in stress and toxic stress, that we've become so accustomed and we wear it as a badge of honor that we don't sleep or we work for, 10, 15 hours a day. And it's become so toxic that it's killing us as human beings and as a species. Everybody knows, 5 years ago, the World Health Organization said 90% of all disease is caused by stress. And we know that because if you're stressed and you're in high cortisol, then you're not sleeping. And when you're not sleeping and your hormones begin to shift and get out of structure, then that's the beginning of disease, the beginning of neurodegeneration, the degenerating of the brain, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, MS, autoimmune diseases and disorders is because we are in constant states of stress to the sense where our bodies can no longer regulate our nervous systems. We have become so dysregulated that we are in the beginning stages of degeneration. If we're understanding and we wear it like it's different for us, we say, I didn't sleep, and somehow we're proud of that. Or, I worked 15 hours, or I don't eat very well, and that's part of what makes me successful. But that's not true. So in cases of neurodegeneration, so we're talking about Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and MS, the degeneration begins 10, 15, 20 years before we begin to see the symptoms. So if we all understand that neurodegeneration starts with lack of sleep, high states of cortisol, stress, and adrenaline in the body, that shifts then our entire hormonal system in balance and our gut balance, so in dysbiosis, then we understand that is the state of neurodegeneration. And the time begins clicking to where if we don't do something about it and we don't do dramatic changes in our lives, then we don't have much life left. And so our goal and our passion and our hope is we want to bring this to as many people as possible, that it's not hard to transform your life. There's a few easy things you can do. We just need to begin doing them now. And it needs to make sense for us and our bodies. And our brains are a unique fingerprint. And our bodies are a unique fingerprint. And what works for one person won't work for another. And it is a myth that our brains are all the same. It is a myth that our bodies are all the same. Every small thing we encounter in our world, every tiny piece of information and data from our world changes our neurological structure and functioning, changes our biological functioning to the point to where we become toxic, cortisol neurotoxic, or toxic within disease within our bodily systems. And so our hope is that we can begin to create a ripple effect, to have individuals who have a massive network, have reach, who have a passion or a desire to impact and change the world, to come together, to get the skills, the tools, the techniques to really transform your own life. We're not talking about health. We're not talking about wellness. We're not talking about, next level intellect. All of that is part of the package. But we have to understand how the brain really functions, how the brain learns, how the brain predicts and models itself within its world, and runs the body and the communication between the brain and body if we're going to understand this spaceship that we are in. It is as if our brain and body, it's a spaceship that we never received a manual for. And that's our hope. Our hope is to give people a manual to begin understanding this very delicate and intricate, amazing ship, and how we function within relationship to each other, and how we can either be remarkably toxic to one another and disease and co-regulating dysfunction, or we can be remarkably healing to one another as a species and as humans in co-regulating health, co-regulating peace, co-regulating just deep awareness of being in a state of calm so that our bodies can heal and regenerate and restore, so that we spread on healthy DNA to future generations and not diseased DNA and not diseased beings and ways of being within our world for future generations. And that's our hope. So we don't want to just change the people who come. We are purposefully targeting the ripple effect that those who come will then go back and, like a virus, begin to infect families, communities, organizations, societies, to have a greater impact on our entire planet for people who want to come back to understanding what it means to be a human being who is being instead of doing in this world. And so we're excited to host people and have them come and really do engage in great conversations and form a tribe, so that each group that leaves, they're a cohort, and it's just a catalyst for transformation and evolution. Because when you come, it's not a retreat. We're coming and we're giving you a toolkit, a roadmap for life, and you get a partner or two, and you're in an accountability group when you leave. And we meet every few months on Zoom from wherever we are around the world, and we're continuing to grow and learn and expand and support each other as a network. So it's not a retreat, it's the beginning of your transformation. It's the beginning of the next new thing and version that you want to create or be in the world. And we're excited to have you join. So the idea behind gathering these people together, and I know we called it Neuro Wellbeing Retreats, Wellbeing and Wisdom, if you will, was to bring together all of the information that we know to date in regards to both Eastern and Western medicine, and not just medicine, but in the way that we live our lives in relationship to each other and to the world. And the idea would be that if we all come together, those of us who are living in high states of stress and high states of disease, that if we can take a break in the moment and learn tools and techniques for life and health that no one else out there has access to. And we're overwhelmed with all of this health information. We don't know who to believe and what to do, to condense it into a platform where people can come and get real, tangible, immediate, actionable nutrition, lifestyle, neuroscience, neurobiology, Ayurveda, Eastern, Western medicine, and just get some techniques and tools in addition to biohacking, the latest tech tools for how do we really tap into our ultimate peak performance, peak health, both not as just humans, but as co-regulating as a species within our communities, within our societies. And so we're really excited to bring this because it's different and new. It's than anything we've ever done before or seen before, and excited to really bring it to life.